Hello all. Today let us discuss about a new case study called Analysis on Why Vocabulary is Essential to English Language Teaching and Learning. So, I have two students with me who will explain about their difficulty in this topic. So, vocabulary learning is the most important thing in language learning actually. So yeah, in vocabulary is not just words. So yes, so vocabulary is something where it is the basic of speaking a language, to speak or to understand. So vocabulary knowledge contributes significantly to academic success. So, in educational settings, learners encounters subject-specific terms and academic languages that are necessary for understanding textbooks, lectures, and examinations. So, without sufficient vocabulary, learners may struggle not only in English classes but also across other disciplines. So, vocabulary teaching has shifted from memorization approaches to teachers now emphasize meaningful exposure, repeated practices, families, and collocation, and so many things. So they start following these strategies, promote deeper learning and long term retention. So, vocabulary is the core of English language teaching and learning. So, it supports comprehension, communication, grammatical development, learners' confidence, and academic achievements. Therefore, vocabulary instruction should be given equal, if not greater, emphasis than other language components. So, and it should be integrated across all language skills and classroom activities for effective language learning. So, let us now discuss about the study of the students and their difficulty in overcoming this.
One of the primary reasons of vocabulary is essential is its direct impact on four language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. In listening and reading, learners rely on word knowledge to comprehend message, instructions, and text. A limited vocabulary leads to poor comprehension, frustration, and disengagement. In speaking, writing, learners need a wide range of words to express ideas clearly, accurately, and creatively. A strong vocabulary allows the learners to convey meaningfully, precisely, avoid repetition, and adapt their language to different contexts.
Vocabulary development also supports grammatical competence. Learners often acquire grammatical patterns through exposure to words in meaningful context. For example, understanding verb forms, collocations, and sentence structures is closely linked to knowing how words function together. Thus, vocabulary and grammar are interdependent rather than separate components of language learning. From a pedagogical perspective, vocabulary instruction enhances learners' confidence and motivation. When students recognize and can use more words, they feel more capable of participating in classroom activities, discussions, and assessments. This increased confidence foster greater engagement and willingness to communicate, which are essential for language acquisition.
Of course, I agree with you. So, vocabulary is the backbone of language proficiency and plays a decisive role in the success of English language teaching. So, it is through vocabulary that learner access meaning, construct ideas, and engage in communication. So, while grammar provides the framework of language, vocabulary supplies the building blocks without which communication becomes limited or ineffective. So, therefore, vocabulary development is not merely a a component of language learning, but it's very a foundation. Um, so comprehension in both listening and reading depends heavily on vocabulary language. So learners may understand grammatical structures but still fail to grasp meaning if they lack sufficient word knowledge. So research shows that a high percentage of known words in a text is necessary for effective comprehension. So when learners possess a broad vocabulary, they can decode meaning more effectively. Okay, so vocabulary leads to misinterpretation, reduced confidence, and avoidance of language tasks. Yes.
So, good morning. Vocabulary forms the foundation of language learning and plays a central role in English language teaching. Without adequate vocabulary, learners struggle to understand text, express idea, or engage in meaningful communication. While grammar provides a structures, vocabulary supplies the content of language. Hence, effective communication is impossible without words.
Of course. A strong vocabulary directly influences learners' confidence and willingness to communicate. So, when learners possess adequate vocabulary, they are more likely to participate in classroom discussions, attempts new language tasks, and expresses their idea without fear. So, this confidence fosters a positive learning environment and encourage risk tasking. Okay, so in contrast, learners with limited vocabulary often experiences anxiety, hesitation, and reduced motivation. So vocabulary knowledge is a strong predictor of academic success. So effective vocabulary teaching extends beyond memorization of words. So in communicative language teaching, vocabulary plays a very major role because communication depends on meaning rather than form alone. So, learners are encouraged to use vocabulary in real life situations such as role plays, discussions, problem solving, project work. So, this contextualized use helps learners inter learners to apply it effectively in authentic communication. So, vocabulary also carries cultural meaning. So I would like to conclude the problems that you face in like vocabulary is indispensable to English language teaching and learning. So learners' confidence, academic achievement, cultural understanding depends on vocabulary. So effective vocabulary instruction should be systematic. So contextual and integrated across all language skills. So teachers must prioritize vocabulary development through meaningful exposures, strategic learning, and communicative practices to ensure learners achieve true language proficiency. So that is all I see. So learning vocabulary is just not a one day task. It should be throughout. Only then it can be achieved.